What up, folks? I am Ultrazilla, and today I have a review of the SH MONSTERARTS Godzilla 1972. That's right, my Zillions. It is a time to review a brand new Godzilla from SH MONSTERARTS, one that we've been anticipating for quite some time. I would say one of the most anticipated figures of this year, at least of the first half of the year, right? Saw this at New York Comic-Con in person, and it looked stupendous. If you watch my unboxing, you know it's pretty decent already. So my box is a little warped. I hate the interior trays of SH MONSTERARTS. I can never put them back correctly, and they end up destroying the boxes for me. I don't care about the boxes too much. It's a decent box. It's got Godzilla on there. You know, you got the product shots like you always do. You got googly-eyed Godzilla, which, you know, it's representative of what Godzilla is here from, you know, destroy all monsters through this movie. I like this Godzilla. I really, really do. It's one of my all-time favorites. So, without any further ado, let's get to this review. And here is Godzilla out of the package, looking lean, mean, and green. He's not that lean, actually. He's a little chunky. But, you know, he's green. This is the Godzilla where, like, a lot of, like, you know, U.S. designs, like the Imperial and stuff, all got that green from the Shogun Godzilla. They saw this and they were like, yeah, green. That's what Godzilla is, but he's more like, this is just getting destroyed at this point and decomposing. He has a tinge of green, a nice tinge of green on him. And it's pretty good. You know, that's one area where we could talk a little bit, because my eye keeps going to this arm where it's not as evenly distributed as, say, like this arm, the green kind of blends nicely. You can see it like right there, or maybe you can, I don't know. But over here, it's not as prominent, and you know, I feel like it could be better there. Just my eye keeps going. It's good there, like you see right there, blends, but you just see my arm. But you see a lot of the gray underneath more. But I digress. That's like the only area where that green is, like, you know, not really doing to me what it's supposed to be doing. Otherwise, it looks pretty good over the normal gray. It's a really nice sculpt. He's a really solid figure. Feels really, really good. Like, I like the feel of this figure. This is classic MONSTERARTS. You know, we've had some good ones, in my opinion, with that lately, where it's not completely falling apart. You know, amongst a lot of bad ones in recent years, which I've documented here on the channel. It's always a crapshoot with this stuff, and I've had my fair share of good ones and bad ones, and you know, I'm stressing that just for the folks that think I'm always saying all good stuff about MONSTERARTS. I've literally thrown figures in a heap of parts on my table. People forget or think, you know, the be-all, end-all of my existence is their existence here on the channel, and it is not. I've been around the block a little bit, but it's a good, solid piece, and that is excellent. If you watch my unboxing, I was saying that the jaw is a little loose, and it is. It's not like falling open loose, but if there's any spot on this figure that's not, like, nice and solid, I would say it's the jaw, and that goes for both heads, and we'll look at the other head shortly, but you can see I'm opening and closing it very, very, very easily. Like, you know, there's no resistance whatsoever. Again, it doesn't fall open, it holds its pose fine, and it's not slacking, which is good. That's another problem SH MONSTERARTS has had. It opens and closes totally fine, but yeah, it's you know, I'm not gonna say it's not like the tightest thing in the world, because it's not. So that's an articulation point. Might as well do the rest. The head moves like so up there, and then, you know, you have another neck joint with a couple segments, which ends at the bottom here. It's not as movable. You can move it here more than down there. So over here it's really kind of tight, but if you move it in the proper way, you can get it to go inward a little bit and give you a little bit more range of motion for sure. Then the shoulders come in and out pretty fine. This one a little bit easier to maneuver than this one for whatever reason for me. And then the elbow moves like so. It's a double joint, and you got the floating piece in the middle. I mean, you can't really feel these double joints, honestly, on a lot of these figures because of the way it's crafted, and that's fine. Then you have a hinge swivel at the wrist, which moves pretty good. At the midsection there, you got the joint up in here, ab joint, and then the waist joint, which actually moves pretty well, the waist joint. And you can close it nicely, which is good, and cover up any sort of gappage, which is excellent. And it moves pretty well. And then you can see that this joint moves forward nicely when you move everything together, which is good. So, but the upper joint is a little bit tighter than the lower joint. So, do keep that in mind. Then the legs, you can move them all the way out like this. You got pretty good range of motion in the legs, and there's what feels like a drop-down joint in there. Look at that. The way it maneuvers. I don't know if it's like a proper drop-down joint, but it certainly maneuvers like that. So that's pretty good. And then you could rotate it at the thigh, which is nice. Then the knee, you have a double joint here again, but, you're covered up. I say covered up like it's a bad thing. One of the things I've preached since day one about what's awesome about MonsterArts is the way they covered up their joints nicely and you don't see them. So, I'll take it. And Godzilla, does he have to be super, super movable? Not necessarily. And then the ankle moves like so, which actually is pretty good. The tail, of course, has many segments, and you saw me moving it around earlier already, and this is a really particularly good tail, because I'm getting 0 segments popping out, and I'm moving it all kinds of ways, including that. So, yeah, when they do the inevitable repaint for Hedorah and the repaint for the Shroll monsters, they'll have, they'll be able to do this from Hedorah. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty cool. You see it first here, that you can indeed do it. This is an extraordinarily good tail, maybe the best tail on any MonsterArts. I think it is. There you go. That's the articulation on Godzilla, and it's pretty good. All right, so back to taking a look at this guy in full, because I talked about some of the paint already, but it's good. And the sculpt is excellent, in my opinion. Look at the feet. Really, really nice paint on. The nails is very well done, nicely gradiated there. Really, really well done. Bottom feet, nothing to speak of, really. The rest of the legs look pretty good. Sufficiently Godzilla of the era. I really like it. It's nice. It's chunky. This figure reminds me, and I said this in the unboxing, the figure reminds me a lot of the 62 in feel and, look of the chunkiness, and I like that. 62 is one of my favorites in the line. But the legs are excellent. Beautiful sculpt there. Then down the middle here, you got really nice Godzilla chest and belly. All looking pretty good. And again, you got that green on top of it, which looks really cool. The arms are nice. I talked about the paint on there, but they're overall very nicely done. The nails look good on the hands, which is cool. This guy only comes out, with one pair of hands. So, what you see is what you get, and I'm fine with it. Looks pretty good. I like it. The sides, you do get a little bit of gap, depending on how you align this, but, if you line it right, you don't get it. So it's not really that big of a deal. Then you got the dorsal fins, which are excellent. This Godzilla is the one that started the kind of more poofy dorsal fins, and I love that. Poofy dorsal fins all the way for me. They got even poofier the later we went, and I cannot wait for MonsterArts to start giving us 73 on. It's gonna be so good. Hope we get a new 74 Mechagodzilla, because that one was unacceptable. They look really good. One thing I did notice, and I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but these two dorsals really kind of almost hit into each other. There's no, sculpt break there, so, I'm guessing that's how it's supposed to be. I don't know how I feel about that, but if it's accurate, it's accurate. If it's not accurate, then, count me on the side of, not caring for it. But I did notice that they are very, very close together. But it looks really good overall. I like the silver, how it goes into the, charcoal, gray-green. Really, really nice. Excellent looking dorsal fins. I got nothing bad to say about them. They look very, very good throughout. The rest of the tail looks very nicely done. Already documented how great this tail is. But it's a really nice sculpt. Paint on the dorsals look pretty good. Little bit of green that comes down from here, but then the rest is really just like charcoal gray on there. And then, of course, we got this head sculpt, and I like it a lot. It's pretty good. Again, he's got these crazy big googly eyes. Not as googly as they get, but they do have the big eye ridge there, which makes it even more pronounced. But he does have giant eyes, and, if you're used to the, big old Bandai Creations Godzilla from this era, like, you're used to this. It's just... Man, that is just like such a classic Godzilla already. Been done a million times, and it's a good Godzilla. But yeah, these eyes look really good. I do like him. When you look at it from the front, he does get a little googly, but that's the Godzilla, and that's what we saw on the packaging. You do have a seam line right down the middle here. But it's kind of, it works well. I mean, like, I see it zoomed in a lot. Let's zoom out. I still see it, but it's not as prominent. So, I don't know. It's not bothering me. I didn't notice it till just now, to tell you the truth. So, it must not be bothering me that much. His nosy looks good. All the sculpt looks very, very nice. I like, these dorsals up here. Some nice paint on there, too. The inside of the mouth. Hard to see the tongue. There it is. And I don't know if it moves. I mean, it might move. But it's pretty far in there. I do have a thing here. Let's see if the tongue moves. Yeah, the tongue moves. So that's another articulation point. And I just took the tongue out. Glug. Gonna have to... we're gonna have to replace that. But I'll tell you, even if you take the tongue out, you really don't... It's not in there because it looks the same as the rest. See what happens when I try to show you guys something. But it is articulated. The teeth look really, really good. The teeth look really, really good on this head. The gums look excellent. And we're going to close the mouth, and then I'm going to get off camera and replace that tongue. But overall, this is a really good-looking Godzilla. I really like the proportions. Everything just is pretty awesome, man, Like I said, the one thing that I do notice is, the paint, how it goes onto this shoulder. It's not as bad over here. It's not bad. It's just a little less prominent, that green that's throughout. But otherwise, if you look at it from the side, the green is there, so that's pretty good. Otherwise, this is a pretty excellent Godzilla. I really, really like it. And just to show you guys, this tongue, I don't know if it's meant to be articulated, because this little thing here, maybe is meant to open up just a little bit, but as you, maybe, can't see it. As you can see, it's not a regular, proper, like, little ball joint, and the way it is, it's, it goes on to the bottom of his mouth. So, yeah, just to show you guys that, I'm not sure how much you want to play around with this, because you're gonna make it come out like this, I think. And the only other accessory is an alternate head for Godzilla. This has the same jaw thing going on mine. You can make it a little more slack. He's got the tongue in there as well. This Godzilla has blood on him. A little scrape there for Godzilla. You can see that there's a little kind of divot there, a little hole where Gigan has smashed him on the head, and now he's bleeding. It's good. It looks like a good effect. It's very well done. You got a little bit, I don't know if that's on purpose, but there's a little excess paint on my tooth right there, and feels like it could be a drop of blood. You know what I'm saying? The eyes on this one are just like the other ones, nice and googly, and the rest of the head, it looks pretty good overall. Let's give this guy a check with this head, shall we? Nice and easy to replace. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know, again, the jaw, it holds its pose, but yeah, definitely opens and closes a lot easier, looser than other Godzillas. No doubt about it. But that's a good look. I do like it. And for your size comparisons, here is Gigan bashing Godzilla, as we just talked about. And he's pretty tall, Gigan, compared to this Godzilla. Is Gigan really that much taller than Godzilla? I always thought this Gigan figure was really big. Like, Godzilla doesn't even reach the top of his head, let alone the horn. But, I mean, they don't look bad together, obviously. I think they look pretty good. Green is the theme. But we're not done quite yet with Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla on Monster Island, because here it is with Anguirus and King Ghidorah. Of course, the Anguirus is Revoltech, and the King Ghidorah is the third party, because we don't know yet, third party King Ghidorah. But, I mean, it's gotta be obvious at this point that this is the progression of the plan. We're probably going to see King Ghidorah next, but we might see Anguirus next. We're going to see all four of these guys. I mean, I think we can definitely bank on that happening. You know, and then we'll see once the official King Ghidorah comes out how different it is from the one that was given to us by that nice third-party company. Right now I'm saying third party because, you know, the style is obviously Monster Arts, but the Revoltech Anguirus works pretty well. I think he's a tad short. A tad, but you could get away with it. I don't think these four look bad together at all. So let's change things up and make this a little bit of a Destroy All Monsters set. Yeah, why not? You know, you got some figures to play around with, and you might as well use them. And what we've brought in here is the Movie Monster Series Gorosaurus, the Revoltech Baragon, and then Minya, Mothra, and Rodan from the Mezco 5 points. The Rodan, I could have used the Revoltech as well, but I couldn't find it. So, you know, Mezco, it shall be. You know, it's a little short, but I do think the Mothra is pretty spot on. You know, I think that's pretty good. The SH Monstars Mothra Larva is the Heisei, and it's a little bit big in my opinion. This guy could have been a little bit bigger, but it all works out. So, you know, obviously there's other players involved, but these are the ones I was able to grab really quick, and I think it looks pretty cool. And last but not least, after much searching, here he is with a Hedorah, the SH Monster Arts Hedorah. You know, he's not that much smaller than Hedorah, and unlike Gigan, I feel like he could be a little bit bigger. So I don't know. I'm like, you know, in my mind's eye, I feel like Gigan's a little bit too big, and this guy's a little bit too short. You guys let me know how you think. And just so you see, this is how the flying form scales with him. I think the flying form is tremendous, but tremendously awesome. And my final thoughts, this thing is great. It really is. I like it a lot. It is a nice figure. SH Monster Arts did pretty good here. Any little complaint I might have had in this review are really minor in my opinion. Nothing really to complain about. You know, your mileage is gonna vary, of course. You think about the figures however you want. If you get the figure and you have a problem with it, that's, you know, that's your prerogative. For me though, I like what I got here. I think it's pretty good. I think it's one of the better SH Monster Arts Godzillas that we've gotten in a while. This tail is phenomenal and probably one of the best. I mean, look, now that they have this mold and they did the 72 to start out with, easily, and I don't want to hear the complaints, because easily, you know, you're going to be able to convert him into the 71 and the Destroy All Monsters, which is, I guess, 68, 69. So, yeah, it's going to be very easy to do so, and I hope they do. You know, like, make the paint slightly different, give him some slightly different accessories, maybe, and I'll be happy, because this is a really nice mold. They did very, very well here with this. They don't really need to change too much with the different ones. It's just colors and stuff, and maybe, like I said, different accessories. But let's get a beam maybe with one of them. Who knows? The rocket in Destroy All Monsters, that'd be cool. You know, there's things you could give us. But it's good. It's really good. And if you didn't get it from Japan quite yet, I don't know how much is available out of Japan right now, but you can still pre-order it through US outlets, so I suggest you do so. It is definitely one of the better ones to come down the pike. That's my review. Hope you dug it. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you're new to the channel, why don't you go ahead and sub yourself for daily content, and let me help you diversify your collection. Till next time, peace out, peeps.